Are you looking for sealed product and singles? You can find it all on Channel Fireball. Please use my Tablemon affiliate code when checking out to help support my content. Looking for PTGO codes? Poton Store has all the latest sets and promos, instantly delivered to your email. You can use Tablemon code when checking out for 5% off. If you're from Europe, Millibots Gaming has a wide array of sealed products, singles, and more. You can use Tablemon code when checking out for 5% off.
Tablemon.
Hello everyone and welcome to our second Vivid Voltage deck that we are going to be featuring today. Today we're going to be talking about the brand new ORBEETLE VMAX. This card is pretty interesting. It's really unfortunate that it's weak to fire, because otherwise I think it would be a fantastic card to play around with. 310 HP, which is definitely far from the highest of the VMAXs. The ability Eerie Beam. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, you may put 1 damage counter on each of your opponent's Pokemon. So right off the bat, you'll be able to pressure whatever they are trying to power up, and also get some damage counters spread elsewhere. And then the G-Max Wave attack does 50 damage plus 50 more for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So usually attack costs are going for at the very least 2 and sometimes 3. So for 2 energies, you'll be dealing between 150 and 200 damage, which is honestly very, very cost effective. Yeah, it's generally very cost effective. Of course, your opponent can play around with this knowledge and they can push energy-less Pokemon to the active spot, then your damage output becomes 60, but that's where obviously boss's orders come in, and the extra damage counters that you should be able to place every other turn, or every turn rather, with Eerie Beam once you get to evolve. Ideally, we want 2 or 3 Orbeetles, having them down, using Eerie Beam a lot, switching around. Seems like a really good call. I did think about fitting in Malolana into the stack to have an extra Eerie Beam access for 30 damage extra every turn. However, that's not super easy in terms of deck space. Now, we are going to rely on a Jirachi engine to help support the deck. That's why we have 4. I thought about playing one of the new amazing rare Jirachis. That could be a possibility, I guess, but Jirachi obviously helps you set up, gives you that stability along with the Crobat, the Dedenne, and the Eldegoss. And then we have Zigzagoon. We're already placing a bunch of damage counters with ORBEETLE VMAX everywhere, so we want Zigzagoon to help us in getting those clutch damage counters ready to go, and making sure we can deal a bunch of damage to the active Pokemon. I don't know why I'm wearing these. I just pulled them and I hurt my ear a little bit. So yeah, that's it for support Pokemon. We have a Zigzagoon, and then in order to add to our damage counter arsenal, right, we are utilizing a ROXIE engine with Whizzing. Now this Whizzing is the one where if it's discarded by ROXIE, you are able to put an extra damage counter on all of your opponent's Pokemon, and you also get to draw cards with ROXIE. So it's a really nice way to keep applying pressure, keep piling up that extra damage. And even though games are actually end quite quickly, right? Even though games do end up quite quickly, I feel like the ROXIE extra draw support, because you don't need to discard Weezing, right? You can discard Orbeetle, the extra Orbeetles you have. You can discard extra Jirachis as well. So you don't have to ROXIE for 2 damage counters every turn. You'll actually probably only be able to do it once. And then maybe an extra row of damage counters, but between that and the Orbeetle abilities with switches and whatnot, you should be able to apply a lot of pressure to your opponents, right? So that's the idea behind this deck. That's why we have the max ROXIE and the max Weezing count. This deck is definitely very gimmicky, right? I don't expect it to be the best deck in the format, but I do think it could be an interesting option to play around with. Now we also have 2 Marnies, 2 research, and 2 bosses, so a little bit of variety in the supporter count. Like I said, Malolana is definitely an option that you could consider adding to give you that extra damage counter sometimes. But because the attack is generally so cheap and you might get a turn or two of extra energy attachments here and there, what you could do is, since Orbital VMAX only retreats for a single energy, you can promote the Orbital VMAX, use the ability, retreat into a brand new one with no energy, essentially use the ability again, and then switch into the one that's powered up to attack. So that's 30 extra damage that you dealt to every single of your opponent's Pokemon, which is really nice. You could also pair Orbeetle with something like Welders and Cramorants and the new tool card Telescopic, something that lets you snipe for 30 extra damage to the bench. So maybe there's something going there. Orbeetle could generally be a support Pokemon that's hard to take down, right, if you just keep it on the bench. And those extra damage counters could definitely make a difference at some point. Now, continuing with the consistency of the deck, we have the 4 Quick Walls and the 4 Pokemon Communication, Max Pokemon Search. We do have a lot of Pokemon in this list. We have, I believe, 21 different Pokemon, including the Weezing, so should always have access or a live Pokemon Communication, which means we can search for the Orbeetles or we can search for the Weezings so that we can make the best use out of the ROXIE. Now, because we do want to switch a lot and because we do have the Jirachis, we want maximum counts of switches, scoop of nets, and the Herballoon should also be pretty nice, because what we can do, like I said, we can even pay the retreat cost, or we can have Herballoons on Orbital VMAXs and then we promote the one with the balloon, use the ability, retreat, use another ability, and then switch to use a third and final ability. With Malolana, I guess we could use all 4 abilities in one turn, but if you already have 4 Orbital VMAXs in play, I'll be very impressed. And then finally, in the energy department, we have 3 capture and 7 grass. We do have a very nice grass and colorless cost attack cost for Orbital VMAX's attack. That means we have the space and the viability to use capture energy to help with the setting up multiple Orbital VMAXs, which is the end goal for this deck. The capture energy can also find you that Jirachi early on to help with the consistency and getting going with that Stellar Wish. And you might run into a situation where you have 2 capture energies and no access to a grass, but it's going to be very rare, and that would be very unlucky. There is a chance that it happens, but as long as you plan properly, it should be in very few instances where that does happen. Now, other options to consider for this deck could definitely be the Mr. Mime that blocks the use of cards that bring your opponent's Pokemon back to their hand, right? So essentially blocking Scoop of Net. There could be married to the Mimikyu that prevents healing. Therefore, Malolana on an opponent's deck would not work. The direct counters for this deck are obviously Centiskorch. It's obviously Centiskorch and any fire deck, right? Any Heatran or Welder box deck or any Centiskorch deck. So it's gonna be rough. We don't have weakness guard energies, and even if we had them, I don't think that would be enough to beat that deck. The only way we would beat Centiskorch would be if for some reason they choose to go crazy on their energies on a single Centiskorch and then we one KO them that way. But if your opponent has any amount of skill, they will probably avoid doing that. So yeah, that's gonna be our Orbital VMAX deck. You could build this deck in a different way with something like Sableye, right? Sableye B and a dark focus of the deck could be good, but you'd probably have to sacrifice the Weezings then. You'd probably have to play Turbo Patches as well to get that extra energy acceleration, because Sableye is so frail and powering it up is not super easy. It's definitely an option, but I feel like this straightforward version is a little better, or not a little better. I haven't tested out. I like this straightforward version more. Yeah, I'll definitely be giving it a try once Vivid Voltage is available online. But overall, it's definitely not going to be a tier 1 or even tier 2 deck. It'll probably be a solid tier 3 deck overall. But yeah, that will be all for this video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, and subscribe if you want to earn yourself a code in the daily video. I'm giving out codes every single day. And check out Poton Store, check out Channel Firewall, check out Millibots Gaming, our fantastic sponsors. You can input code Tablemon to get discounts and support the channel in all of them. And I will be moving on to recording the next video of the Vivid Voltage coverage. I'm excited for Thursday. I'm honestly very tired of the standard format. That's why I enjoyed playing Expanded the other day so much, on top of the fact that I won the tournament, which was pretty awesome. You can definitely expect a video about that sometime soon. And with that, I will be saying goodbye. Thanks so much. Don't forget to leave a like, and I will see you in our next video.